Good morning. It is that time again for story time with Dr. Murrell. And today we are reading Miss Joyce Gives the Best High Fives. As we start a new school year, I wanted to be sure that you understood who I am as your school counselor and what my role is in the school. So, for most of my upper grade kids, you already know who I am and what I do. But for my new babies, my kindergartners, this is perfect for you to figure out who Dr. Murrell is and how she can help me in the building, or even right now, virtually. I hate that I'm kind of looking down, so here we go. Mrs. Joyce gives the best high fives. All right, it's going to be a little bit hard for me to kind of show you all the pages. It was it was finally the first day of school, and Anita couldn't wait. All of her friends would be there, and she'd have a new teacher to meet. The front doors of Emerson Elementary opened, revealing her favorite person at the school, the counselor. Hopefully, I'm a few of y'all's favorite person, and if not, I'm sure I'll get there. Mrs. Joyce smiled and high-fived Anita. Mrs. Joyce, you gave the best high fives. Good morning, Anita. It's wonderful to see you. How was your summer? Excitedly, Anita replied, Good morning, Mrs. Joyce. My summer was totally amazing. I spent most of it at my grandpa's farm. He taught me how to ride horses and catch fish, and we went swimming almost every day. They looked pretty happy to me. Just then, a group of boys came running up to high-five Mrs. Joyce too. Welcome back, Brad and Charles. Your backpacks are almost as big as you are, she teased. And who is this? This is Raymond, my neighbor, Brad explained. Hello, Raymond. My name is Miss Joyce, and I'm the school counselor. It's nice to meet you. Hi, it's nice to meet you too, he replied a little bit shy. As the boys walked into the building, Raymond asked, What exactly does a school counselor do? I bet you some of you guys have that same question. Brad began, Well, school counselors help you with lots of things. I visited her last year when my parents separated. It was really hard on me, but Mrs. Joyce talked with me and helped me better understand why people get divorced. Did your parents find out what you talked about? No, Mrs. Joyce doesn't tell anybody. She's a school counselor, so she doesn't tell anybody what you talk about. It's called confidentiality, unless you're being hurt or you're trying to hurt someone else. Then she tells someone who can help you. Mrs. Joyce helped me too, Charles added. I used to be really anxious before tests, so much so that I couldn't think straight. Mrs. Joyce taught me ways to relax and get prepared for tests. And now they're way easier. Sounds like Mrs. Joyce is a lot like Dr. Murrell. I'm liking her. Later that week, Mrs. Bright, Raymond's teacher, handed him a counseling pass. Mrs. Joyce would like to visit with you to see how you're doing. Raymond felt nervous as he walked into the counselor's office, but as he looked around, the room had all these colorful posters and drawings. He began to relax. Look at her office. Y'all know Dr. Murrell keeps her office really colorful too. Raymond, it's great to see you again. How's your first week going? I like it so far. My teacher's really nice, and Brad's in my class. Wonderful, exclaimed Mrs. Joyce. I'm glad to hear and have you here to listen to both of us. Looking around, Raymond noticed a sign. That sounds like something I've heard before, he declared, pointing at the poster. What is said here stays here. What does it mean? It means I won't tell anyone what you and I talk about. It's private. It's called confidentiality. Now, that's a big word, but basically it just means a secret, unless someone is hurting you or you want to hurt yourself. Oh, I remember Brad saying something about that earlier. He and Charles told me some of the ways you've helped them. Yes, I'm here to help all students. Sometimes we talk about feelings and making good choices or setting goals. I help each student become their own problem solver. My own problem solver? You bet. Once you learn how to solve problems, you're closer to being the best you that you can be. Isn't that cool? Who wants to be a problem solver? Raymond thought for a moment. If I had a problem and I want to talk to you about it, how do I let you know? Easy. You fill out a need to know and need to see the counselor form, or you can tell your teacher and she'll let me know. You can also tell your parents or guardians and they can give me a call. Would you ever visit with my parents? Sure. I work with parents and teachers. We are all partners in your education, and we want to see you successful here at school. Raymond nodded. Sometimes it's hard for me to make friends. Is this something you can help students with? Absolutely. In fact, I have a friendship group that starts next week. We'll talk about what friendship is and how to discover ways to make friends. Is that something you might be interested in? I'll have a friendship group too. Can't wait to get some of you in it. Raymond shrugged. Will the kids make fun of me and tell everyone I don't have any friends? Oh no. Whatever anyone talks about stays here, even when we're in a group. Remember the poster? So you aren't allowed to talk about it outside of the room? That's right. What we learn about each other is meant to help, not to hurt, Mrs. Joyce assured him. Cool. I'd like to learn how to make friends, Raymond smiled. Yes, and I want to be a part of your friendship group. That is great. I'll send you a letter home to your parents explaining about the group and get their permission. Raymond had one more question. The other day when I was in class and we were getting ready to go to recess, I saw you go into Charles's classroom. Why were you in there? I go into classrooms several times a year. I usually read a story or do an activity with the class. We always have a great time during my classroom visits, which I can't wait to have more classroom visits. But right now we'll visit virtually. Raymond thought about everything Mrs. Joyce had said. He liked talking to the school counselor. Thank you, Miss Joyce, for telling me about your job and for inviting me to join the friendship group. I'm glad you're at my school, Raymond. There are lots of grown-ups here who want to help you. I just happen to be one of them. Yeah, she looks happy to help. As Raymond left her office, Mrs. Joyce gave him a high five. See you next week, she said. Raymond grinned and walked back to class, already feeling like making friends might not be as hard as he thought it would be. Even if it was, he knew just who could help. And hopefully you know just who can help. I hope, if nothing else, you took from this story, you realize how much the school counselor wants to help you. I'm your school counselor, Dr. Murrell, and that's exactly what I want to do, is be here to help. So if there are things that you want to talk to me about, you can send me an email, you can have your teacher send me one, or your parents. So thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to share my next story with you. Until then, be kind to each other.